Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world away, and for me this is a brand new week. This is the first video of the week for me, even though this is Tuesday. I thought we'll start the week with a marathon build. We're going to do the next 5 stages of the Hachette Partworks build of the Mark III Lancaster bomber. So I'm going to be working on stages 37 to 41, which means it's finishing that second engine, and we are going to be mounting it to the wing. You're going to see the wing. You'd be happy to know there is a dihedral on the wing as well. And I'm also going to be finishing this engine. Now, in the last pack, you probably saw the last stage I did, I actually had this working, but we're actually going to be building onto that now. So if you want to get this for yourself, don't know if it's available, yeah, we'll have to check the video description and the QR code on the screen if you don't want to click that button. Otherwise, let's get cracking. So here we go. This is where we're going to start. This is stage 37. And we're going to be doing the starboard engine nacelle, looking like that. Putting these bits together like this. Looks like quite a quick stage, this one, actually. So that's how it's going to be when we're finished. And here's the rest of the magazine. Okay. Again, these come in these cardboard boxes. Good for the environment. There we go. And we've got this pipe work that we're going to be putting into place first. So let's bring over what we've been working on. I've zoomed up my top camera. The long side of this is going to fit into the bottom hole of the frame that we put in here. To get that in, actually, it's so tight, I'm going to be putting a little bit of oil on it. There you go. See, oil makes everything nice and tight. Right, you want to make sure that this reaches the other side here as well. And to help me do that, I'm probably going to need tweezers, just to ensure that that goes into the hole at the other side. Now, they want it to be glued in, but I'll be honest with you, when that's locked into the position there, that is not going to move. So I'm not going to glue things which really don't need gluing in. But there you go. That's on just like that. I can put this now to one side. Bring over the nacelle, and I'm going to be taking the flame dampener first. That's this section here. This is going to go into the pegs that we've got either side here, and it does follow the curve of this nacelle, and it can only fit in one way. Because, of course, I've tried it the other way. Again, you're not going to need to glue that. That snaps into place. That's not going to move. Now, turning the nacelle over, you see that we've got a little peg down there, which is for this section I'm about to put on. This is the radiator control shutter. And again, I'm going to just rock that into position there, which is going to keep that into place like that. It's quite tight. Look, it's not going to fall out. And then that just leaves this last part left over, which I believe is the carburetor intake. That's going to be putting in a later stage, but that's all there is to do in that stage. So this is stage 38, and here's the magazine. Hello, we've got a note looking like this. It basically says, following a last-minute check on the assembly, we advise you not to use any glue when fitting the carburetor intake, oil cooler intake, nacelle fairing and oil cooler intake. Steps 4, 6 and 7. In issue 39, the operation of the motor is tested. The parts can be glued in after testing. So we're just going to be putting these into place dry, I'm guessing, at the moment. Let's see what that is. So this was stages 4, 6 and 7. So this is 4 here. We're just plugging them in, basically. Doing this here. Let's have a look at 6. This one here, again, we're not gluing that yet until we've tested the motor, and then 7 here. Okay, no problems. This is the rest of the magazine. Excellent. Oh, look, a battery box to test the motors. So, here is stage 38. Let's get all the parts out. Now, unless they really need gluing anyway, I'm not going to be gluing these things in because, to be honest with you, when I put these in on the other side, they were really tight. So just checking that these are just as tight, and pushing, obviously, this flame dampener into position. Perfect. Really, that isn't going to be glued. Look at it. That's in really tight. Okay, I'm going to be taking the 2 pieces that we've created now and the engine. We're going to be fitting these together. So, might be best on the top camera. This one here I just want to get this cable out of the way. It's going to be going on this side. I'm guessing just like that. Best to probably line up the bulkhead here with these channels just in there. Okay, that's one side in. Get the other side lined up and put that one in as well. At the same time, we want that nipple there, or the lug, to be on the other side of that shutter. Line that up. Now, it is no wonder that they did want us to glue those afterwards. I'm just checking that. See, that's still working now. You can see. But yeah, it does take a lot of manoeuvring around, because what happens is when we piece these two parts together, it's pushing the engine together, which is on this shaft here. What we are going to do, though, is we're going to be holding these parts together. So I need to put a screw through here first. And this is a B.III screw, just going through this bigger hole. Get that in. Now, to cover the hole, we've got the part that we had in the last stage. So it goes on this way, just onto these two parts here. And again, you can glue these in. On the other side there, I've got another one of these carburetor intakes. And again, that's gone in fine. And they are saying to glue that in, but I'm not going to, because they are held quite tight in there. On the bottom here, we're going to be hiding all of this section out by putting this lug in. This one probably will need gluing. Let me just have a check. I'll line up the holes. Oh no, that one's snapped in as well. So once again, I'm not going to... I don't need to glue it. I'm not going to glue it. But there we go. That's that one in. And then finally, just at the back here, just to put these two parts together, I've got this one here. That's going to hold those together as well. I reckon that one I probably will have to glue in. Let me just double check. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to glue this back one in. That's the only one. There you go. That's the back one in as well. And that's looking like that. And once again, I am going to check that engine is being able to move. So hang on a second. Yeah, as you can see, working absolutely fine. And that's all there is to do in that stage. And then, surprise, surprise, in stage 39, they're going to give us a tester board. So, as you can see, we're just going to test the propellers now on what we've just created by the look of it. So, going to enjoy doing that. Let's open this pack up. Here is stage 39. Got a battery box and a tester board. Screwdriver here to open this up. Need my bigger screwdriver here to open this up. God, that screw is in tight. And put the batteries in. 1, 2, and 3. Then we just put the battery back on. Put this screw back in. We want to make sure that this battery is in the off position. It is now. Get the circuit board out. And I'm going to be plugging the main big plug of this into the G. So that's in there. Bring over this nacelle that we had. And I'm going to put a propeller on it. So 1 second. There's the propeller on. And I'm going to be plugging this into the board. It's going to go into this big one that's labelled M. So, let's see how this looks. Get it around the right way. I'm going to get ready to take it out because I don't want the propeller to go off in all directions. So, I've just turned this on. It's plugged into the board. So, we're going to be pressing one of these buttons. Let me just see. Press the button K1, which is this one here. It should make this go round. There you go. That's working perfectly. If I let it go, as you can see, it slows down. Successful test. Right, let's press K2. See what that does. That goes round the other way. And again, take the hand off. And as you can see, there you go. So, that nacelle is working. Put that to one side and bring over the first one. And here's the first one here. I'm going to put the propeller on again. And I'll plug the motor for the propeller once again into M. And once again, I'm going to press K1. And there we go. That's that one going round. Perfect. Release it. Then I'm going to do is press K2. And there we go. That's that one going round as well. So we know the motors are working. We've been testing them as we go along anyway. So we're going to be testing the landing gear now. This is going to be fun. I've not tested this since I put it in. Now, I don't think it asked me, and I could be wrong, to plug these shafts in here, which I've put into place because, well, that's where they go. So I'm just going to take the propeller off of this. I don't want that to fall out. Put this in M. And let's see what happens when I press these buttons. I'm going to hold it at the top and I'm going to press K2 first because the undercarriage is already up. And there we go. That goes in, but it is having a little bit of trouble closing this up, which I might have to have a fiddle with. It's a little bit off square. That's the problem. I'm thinking that's going to need some maneuvering. Now, it's basically the hinge which is telling it where it's got to go. I don't remember them asking us to put these ball joints in that lock in, but I'm going to put them in. I'm coating them in oil because they really do need to be loose. So let's get this one in this side first. Perfect. Turn it over. I'm just going to put the other one in place. And I'm oiling the top of that as well. There we go. They're locked in. Now I'm probably going to have to oil a load more stuff here, I reckon. But let's have a look. It goes down and it goes up. But it hasn't really got the power to close these at the moment. And that's because, I think they're at an angle. I think they're at a wrong angle, actually. Let's try and line that up and see if we can open this. See, that's how they're going to look when the doors are closed. But I think I am going to need a hell of a lot more oil and grease to get these working. I do think that where these attach to this rod, that's going to need some oil too. And the other side, oil or grease won't make a difference, I don't think. And I'm just going to play around, just putting this up and down to where it needs to be. One, just so I can get that oil greased up. I can't say it. So I'm just going to do that to make sure that that's very lubricated, as you can see. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. I've been playing around with this for about half an hour now. It's covered in oil, but I will fix that in a minute. All I've done is I've been lubricating every single part. That's all I've done. But I have made it a lot better, and I'm sure if I have more of a tinker for it, it's going to be better. So if I just show you this, so that's open, that's closed. That's open, that's closed. I'll show you from the other side here as well. Open and closed. I'm not happy with how this sits. It's open here, mainly because there's nothing directing these two parts of the undercarriage at the moment. I'm sure I'm going to figure that out. But if you were to have that just like that, make it perfect to where you want it, the problem with that is it won't open. You see what I mean? So you do need to give it a little bit of a push to bring it open. Not sure about that one, but anyway, I've got it semi-working. I'm going to have to be happy with that for now. That's all there is to do in that stage. Look at this. Look at this redness I've got on my head here from where I was wearing those magnifying glasses. Look, I'm not going to lie to you that if I'm having problems like that, especially with that second engine, making sure that once the engine's in, you're trying to push the sides together, that the engine stops. It's because the engine, I believe, is compressing together. It's holding that shaft. So I have had to open that out. I've had to do something that the instructions didn't tell me. And it's pretty much the same as this undercarriage as well. As you see, I've got it closed perfectly there, but you are going to have a gap here to get it to get like that, and I don't think there's a fix for that. So all I'm interested in is the gear does go up and down. As for getting these to fit flush, I think it's going to take a lot of manipulation on the metal hinges in there, perhaps a little bit of bending and stuff like that, but that's pretty advanced modelling, to be honest with you, and you'll be forgiven to think that that's easy to do, but I just wanted to share that with you at the moment. But that's done. Let's move on to stage, what stage are we on now? 40. So here's stage 40. Here's the instructions. We're going to be building another propeller here. Now, we did this right in the very first stage, so this should be easy for us. Let's see. But there you go. That's the end of that stage, and there's the wing, which you're going to see shortly. So let's get all of these parts out. And then it's a case of taking one of these props and putting one of these little top hats on. It needs to go round. Let's get this the right way around. This way. So this can fit over the shaft end of the propeller. That looks good. Then I'm going to be putting a gear just on the end of that. And that looks like that. Perfect. Going to do that 3 times. So that's those 3 done. Going to get these blocks out, which are going to help me line this up. This is the center spindle that everything's going to go into here, and we've got a crown to put on that. The crown's just going to go into the middle, just like that, with the gears facing upwards. Then it's just a case of taking each one of these props, putting it into the indent here. Perfect. And then lying that onto the edge of one of these sections. So that's one there. That one's going to be number 2. Number 3 over here. Okay, they're all in position. I'm happy with that. Can you see that on the top camera? There you go. When that's on, it should look just like that. Look, I haven't held it together yet, but those lugs inside are holding that together. Okay, I need to put a screw here to hold that all in. That's an AP screw, and I've got one here. There we go. That's the next prop completed. All we need to do then is just put this hub over the top here, or the dome as it's called. There you go, that's in place. Last thing to do is take the spinner, get this one out as well, all wrapped up. That's just going to be going on top of everything we've just got here, and then it's going to be screwed in with 3 of these AH screws. These are flat top screws, so one there. Perfect. That's another prop done. That's all there is to do in that stage. So in the last stage of this pack, this is stage 41, and you're going to see how big the wing is now. Check this out. Looking just like this. We're going to put the undercarriage and the nacelle onto the wing. Looking just like that. So get this open. And look at that. Look at the size of it. Now this is all plastic, this is. But it has got, as you can see, the dihedral on here. I think it's supposed to be 7 degrees. I'm looking at it. I'm guessing that is 7 degrees. So what I'm going to do, take the wing this way round. Make sure the wires are in the middle. I'm going to be passing the wires down the bottom here. I'm going to line this up on each side. So that's fitting in perfectly, just like that. Okay. I want to make sure that the wires aren't pinched. I want them to come out this center part here, just like that. That's good. Okay. I need B.III screws, which I've got here, to put these ends in first. So one in here, and one on the other side. And then I'll do the same with the 2 at the front. Now I need to make sure this landing gear is in its down position. So I'm just going to put it in its down position. There we go. It's in its down position. Everyone's happy. Don't know why it needs to be in its down position, but anyway, I'm going to be putting the screws into this side now. These are B.III screws again. This time there's 6. So if you look on the top camera, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why on earth does it need to be in its down position, I wonder? I'm sure we'll find out. Anyway, let's get all 6 of these in. There we go, that's all 6 of those in. There we go, that's the undercarriage there. Now, let me just see what else we've got to do. We've got to put the other one in place. Okay, so I'm going to do a dry fit just to see where this goes, just for a second. So that's going to go on there like that. What we're going to do is screw this in with these 4 screws into the hole here. We do want to make sure that the wire, when we're putting it in, is coming out of that little square in the middle there. As you can see, that's in place. What we're going to be doing then is tracing this through this point just here. And then it's going to go into this cavity just here. Around the other side. And all of these wires here, including these ones, are going to be coming out of this side over here. So let's get every one of these wires trained and I'll show you what that looks like. Now at the side of this lug here, you really do need to make sure your wires are flat. There you go, I'm happy with that. So now I've got 3 plugs coming out of this side just there. Okay, one more thing, I've got 3 FM screws to put in. Load up my screwdriver. They're just going to go into the points just here. And there you go. That's those 3 screws in there. That's solid in place. And with those in, that's all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. I am going to close that undercarriage because it's going to get damaged if I leave it open, I reckon. I can't remember which one is what, to be honest with you. So, there we go. And that's closed. So that's how it's looking. And there you go. Pretty cool. Now, I'm not too worried about these wires slipping out at the moment. I can always tidy them up afterwards. But this is how that's looking. And I'm going to be honest with you. This, I just don't get. I don't get the undercarriage. You see, it's looking okay at the moment. But when it opens and closes, it doesn't want to close in the same position every time. I think that might be an issue. But obviously, when it's on the stand, you're not going to see underneath like this. You're going to be able to just see it opening at the side and the front. So you're not really going to notice it. And if it is something that you really don't like, then I suppose you can just do it manually and position as how it is. But you can see they do open and close. But bit of a mechanical thing there. This was a really hard pack. As a matter of fact, this whole build's really hard. But I've managed to, and I'm really hoping that you're managing yours as well. I've got 2 working propellers and a gear that goes up and down, so count your blessings. There you go. Anyway, I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.